Could a pill sitting in your cabinet right now be the reason your memory is fading? Recent research says yes, and the numbers are too serious to ignore. Millions of seniors over 60 are taking a pill that causes dementia without ever being warned about it. Worried about brain fog or forgetfulness? One pill that causes dementia is being used every night by older adults who have no idea it's slowly damaging their brain. This isn't fear-mongering. One class of pills, taken daily by millions, may increase your risk of dementia by 46%, and it's more common than you think. Imagine this with me for a moment. It's a quiet Sunday evening. You're sitting at your kitchen table, the soft hum of the refrigerator behind you, and a small bottle of pills in your hand. It's the same one you've reached for every night for years, maybe, to help you sleep, ease your allergies, calm your anxiety, or quiet your overactive bladder. You never thought twice about it. But what if I told you, this simple habit, this tiny, familiar pill, might be quietly changing the shape of your brain, and not for the better. Part 1. The surprising link between common pills and memory loss. You see, over the years, many older adults have been prescribed or even casually recommended medications that fall into a class called anticholinergic drugs. It sounds complicated, but here's what it means. These drugs block a brain chemical called acetylcholine, and acetylcholine is vital. It's like a spark plug for your brain. It helps your neurons talk to each other. It keeps your memory sharp, your focus steady, and your muscles working smoothly. Now here's where it gets dangerous. After age 60, your body already begins to produce less acetylcholine naturally. That's a normal part of aging. But when you take a medication that blocks it even more, it's like turning off the lights in a room that's already dim. Your thoughts become slower, your memory fuzzier, and over time, your brain may begin to literally shrink, especially in areas like the hippocampus, which controls learning and memory. Let's pause and look at the science. A major study published in JAMA Internal Medicine followed over 3,400 adults aged 65 and older. The researchers found that those who took strong anticholinergic medications daily for more than 3 years had a significantly higher risk of developing dementia, even when accounting for other health factors. Another study published in Neurology used brain scans to show that older adults on these drugs had lower brain metabolism and smaller brain volume, the same kinds of brain changes we see in early Alzheimer's. What makes this more alarming? Many of these medications are over-the-counter. You can buy them at your local pharmacy, no prescription required, and they're marketed for things older adults deal with every day. Trouble sleeping, allergies, motion sickness, overactive bladder, even irritable bowel syndrome. Here are some common examples. Diphenhydramine, found in Benadryl or Tylenol, PM. Hydroxyzine, also known as Vistaril or Atarax. Oxybutynin, found in bladder drugs like Ditropan. Scopolamine, used in travel sickness patches. Bentyl, used for IBS. And these aren't just causing grogginess or dry mouth. They're silencing the very chemical your brain needs to think clearly, remember conversations, and stay present. What's worse? Many seniors are taking more than one of these drugs at the same time, without realizing the combined effect. Each one might block a little acetylcholine, but together, they can shut down major pathways in the brain that keep you alert, stable, and cognitively intact. So if you've been feeling more forgetful lately, if your thoughts seem slower, it might not be just aging, it might be your medication. Part 2. Real-life medications you might be taking. Let's talk specifics. because this is where things get personal. A sweet 72-year-old woman named Carol came into my office not long ago. She'd been feeling a little more forgetful, a little foggy. She told me she had trouble recalling names lately, misplacing her keys more often, and just didn't feel as sharp as she used to. She smiled and said, "I guess it's just part of getting older, right?" But when we sat down and reviewed her medications, a very different story began to unfold. Carol had been taking Benadryl at night to help her fall asleep, hydroxyzine from time to time to calm her anxiety, and Ditropan for her overactive bladder. Each one on its own might seem harmless. But here's the catch. All three are anticholinergic medications. Together, they were slowly chipping away at her cognitive clarity, blocking the very brain chemical she needed to feel focused, stable, and connected. Carol is not alone. Many older adults, perhaps even you or someone you care about, are unknowingly using medications that fall into this same category. They're not rare, they're not exotic. In fact, they're found in nearly every American household. Here are some examples you might recognize. Allergy medications like Benadryl, sleep aids like Tylenol PM, Unisom, or anything labeled PM on the shelf. Anxiety medications like Vistaril or hydroxyzine bladder control medications like Ditropan, Detrol, or Vesicare. IBS medications such as Bentyl, and even motion sickness patches like scopolamine, often used before travel or long car rides. These drugs are commonly used because they address real symptoms. They help people fall asleep. They calm a restless bladder. They reduce seasonal allergies. They ease gut spasms or travel sickness. But here's the problem. They do these things by suppressing acetylcholine, the very neurotransmitter your brain depends on to stay mentally sharp. And if you're over 60, your brain is already producing less acetylcholine naturally. So every time you take one of these medications, you're quietly pushing your brain further away from balance and closer to the fog of forgetfulness. And most people never find out. That's because the side effects creep in slowly. At first, it's just a little trouble concentrating. Then names begin to slip away. You might read something twice and still not remember it. Eventually, loved ones start to notice. You feel more withdrawn, less engaged. But instead of questioning the medication, we often blame ourselves. We say, "I'm just getting older." We accept the fog as fate. But the truth is, it may not be your age, it may be your medicine. So if anything in this list sounds familiar, if you take something to sleep, if you manage allergies, bladder symptoms, or digestive issues with daily or weekly pills, now is the time to take a closer look. Because the good news is, there are safer alternatives, and there is something you can do. And that's exactly what we'll talk about in the next section. Part 3. What the science really shows. This isn't just a theory or a vague concern. This is science clear, measured, and deeply alarming. Over the past decade, multiple large-scale studies have uncovered the hidden dangers of anticholinergic medications. One powerful meta-analysis, reviewing the data of over 1.5 million people, found a consistent and significant link between long-term use of these drugs and the risk of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. But it doesn't take decades for the damage to show. Another study revealed that just 3 months, yes, only 3 months of regular use raised the risk of developing dementia by a staggering 46%. And perhaps the most chilling discovery came from brain imaging research. Scans showed that individuals regularly taking these medications had smaller brain volumes, particularly in areas critical for memory and reasoning. Their brain activity was slower, their response times dulled, In essence, these pills weren't just causing temporary grogginess, they were quietly reshaping the structure of the brain itself. Let that sink in. A pill you take to help you sleep might be making it harder for your brain to ever wake up fully again. And yet, because these medications are so common, so familiar, so casually used, millions of older adults are walking this dangerous line without ever knowing the risk. But now you know, and that knowledge could make all the difference. Part 4. Why this matters more. After 60, you might think, it's just one pill at night. But imagine 3 or 4, taken daily, quietly, routinely, all working together to silence your brain's inner voice. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't feel like a sudden crash. It's more like a slow dimming of the lights until one day you realize the room you're standing in isn't as bright as it used to be. And that's what makes this so dangerous for older adults. After age 60, the brain is already in a more delicate state. Your acetylcholine levels are naturally lower. Your brain volume begins to shrink slightly each year. Neuroplasticity. Your brain's ability to adapt and repair is not what it once was. In that context, medications that interfere with brain chemicals are no longer minor. They become a real threat to independence, to clarity, to relationships, to the very quality of life we want to preserve. I once spoke with a 68-year-old man named Richard. He was active, social, and sharp until about 2 years ago. His wife began noticing subtle changes. He repeated questions, seemed more withdrawn, and forgot things he never used to. He was terrified it might be early Alzheimer's. But when we reviewed his medications, it turned out he had been taking diphenhydramine for allergies, Unisom for sleep, and oxybutynin for bladder control. 3 strong anticholinergics. 3 silent contributors to what he feared was cognitive decline. After working with his doctor to gradually switch him to safer alternatives, Richard's mental clarity noticeably improved within just a few months. His family saw the difference, and he felt like himself again. Of course, not every case is that straightforward, but it shows us something powerful. When we understand the risks, we can make better choices. When we take proactive steps, the brain often responds, and when we act early, we may prevent years of fog, confusion, or even misdiagnosed dementia. That's why this matters more than ever after 60. Not because we're fragile, but because we're worth protecting. Part 5. What you can do. A step-by-step plan. So, what now? First, I want you to take a deep breath. If you've been taking one of these medications for months or even years, don't panic. You didn't know. Most people don't. But now you do. And that knowledge gives you power, the power to protect your mind moving forward. Let's begin with something simple but important. Step 1. Take inventory. Go to your medicine cabinet. Write down the name of every medication you're currently using, both prescription and over-the-counter. Even things you've been taking only when needed are worth writing down. Step 2. Ask the right question. When you see your doctor or pharmacist, ask them directly, are any of these medications anticholinergic? If the answer is yes, don't feel alarmed, feel informed. Step 3. Start the conversation. Tell your doctor what you've learned. Be open, be honest, and ask questions like, is there a safer alternative for sleep? Can I switch to a different allergy medicine? Is there something better for my bladder that won't affect my brain? These are not confrontational questions. They are responsible questions, thoughtful questions, the kind of questions that could protect your independence for years to come. You see, There are many safer alternatives available today, and often, these alternatives are just as effective, but without the same risk to your brain. In the next section, we'll go through specific options you can ask your doctor about natural options, prescription changes, and lifestyle shifts that may give you the relief you need without compromising your memory or clarity. Because here's the truth. Your brain is not something to wait and see about. It's something to care for today, while it still has time to heal, adapt, and thrive. Part 6. Safer choices to talk to your doctor. About now that you know which medications might be silently affecting your brain, let's explore some safer, smarter options you can confidently bring up with your doctor. These aren't guesses, they're backed by research and carefully considered for older adults. Because here's the truth. You don't have to choose between relief and brain health. With the right support, you can have both. For sleep is essential for memory, balance, and emotional well-being. But many common sleep aids block acetylcholine. These options help you rest without harming your mind. Melatonin gentle, natural, and non-habit forming. Magnesium glycinate supports muscle relaxation and deep sleep. Chamomile or ashwagandha, calming herbal choices with centuries of safe use. Valerian root, another plant-based option with mild sedative properties. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. CBTI, a proven drug-free approach to fixing sleep long-term prescription. Ask about trazodone, a low-risk alternative with minimal brain impact for allergies. Older antihistamines like Benadryl cross into the brain and can interfere with memory. Instead, try Claritin, loratadine, Zyrtec, cetirizine, Allegra, fexofenadine. These are second-generation antihistamines specifically designed not to penetrate the brain easily, making them far safer for long-term use. They're best taken during the day and may be labeled non-drowsy. For bladder issues. Managing an overactive bladder doesn't have to mean sacrificing mental clarity. Instead of anticholinergic options like Ditropan or Vesicare, consider Mirabegron, Mirbatriq, works on a different pathway and does not block acetylcholine. Pelvic floor therapy, simple, guided exercises that strengthen bladder control. Timed voiding and bladder training, easy routines that improve control naturally. Avoiding irritants like caffeine, alcohol, and artificial sweeteners, often overlooked triggers. For IBS can be disruptive, but the fix doesn't have to involve brain-altering drugs. Peppermint oil relaxes the gut and eases cramps. Warm peppermint tea, a gentle, accessible daily option. Probiotics. Certain strains may improve gut health in seniors. Lifestyle changes, fiber balance, hydration, and movement all support digestion. Mind-body therapies, gentle yoga, or guided relaxation can help calm the gut-brain axis, a thoughtful reminder. Not all medications are harmful, but the wrong ones, taken over time, can quietly steal your clarity without you even realizing it. You don't have to accept brain fog as your new normal. Talk to your doctor. Bring your list. Ask the questions, because you deserve solutions that protect both your body and your mind. Part 7. Healing the brain. It's not too late. Here's the good news I want every older adult to hear. It is never too late. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity. Its amazing ability to rewire, adapt, and heal, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Even if you've taken anticholinergic medications for years, the moment you begin to support your brain, you're already making a difference. Let's talk about what truly works. Start with sleep. Deep, uninterrupted rest gives your brain time to flush out toxins, form new connections, and process memories. Aim for 7 to 8 hours, and try to keep your bedtime and wake time consistent even on weekends. Move your body gently. It doesn't have to be exercise. A morning stretch in the sunlight, watering your garden, or just walking around the block helps increase oxygen and blood flow, two things your brain craves. Movement also reduces inflammation, improves mood, and sharpens focus. Nourish your brain with real food. Some of the most powerful brain boosters are already in your kitchen. Leafy greens like spinach and kale packed with folate and vitamin K for cognitive function. Berries, especially blueberries and strawberries, rich in anthocyanins that protect neurons. Nuts, walnuts, and almonds contain healthy fats and antioxidants. Olive oil and salmon loaded with omega-3s that help preserve memory and reduce brain shrinkage. Water, even mild dehydration, can reduce concentration and alertness. Stay mentally and socially connected. Your brain is not just a machine, it's a social organ. Call your grandchildren, play cards with a friend, join a community group or volunteer. Even a short, heartfelt conversation can activate brain circuits that no supplement ever could. And one more thing, find something that gives you purpose. Whether it's caring for a pet, tending a garden, mentoring someone younger, or simply writing in a journal, that sense of meaning keeps your brain engaged, motivated, and beautifully alive. One final thought from the heart. Let me leave you with this. You've lived decades filled with stories, wisdom, and quiet strength. You've seen love grow, people change, the world evolve. And through it all, your memories, your clarity, your thoughts have been your greatest companions. They are not just mental functions. They are you, your laughter, your tears, your family, your life. So please don't let a little pill, taken out of habit or convenience, silently dim the most precious parts of your mind. You deserve to walk into every day with presence, clarity, and calm. You deserve to remember the names of your grandchildren, the lyrics of your favorite song, the face of someone you once loved. And that's why this conversation matters. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. There is nothing more courageous than taking your health into your own hands, especially when no one else sees the danger but you. Be your own best advocate. Make choices today that your future self will thank you for tomorrow. And remember, it's never too late to protect your mind. It's never too late to live sharper, brighter, and more aware. You've got this, and we're here with you every step of the way. Subscribe to Elders Living Better for more trusted, science-backed advice on senior health. Watch the next video to learn what vitamins to avoid that may quietly harm your brain. Because knowledge is power, and you're just getting started. Stay curious, stay strong, and take care of that beautiful mind of yours.